And once a person understand what is to be done, then what he do? He performs takes action accordingly. And finally, one more definition is given by Cumming. What Cumming says, communication is the process of converting messages, that is facts, ideas, attitudes, and opinions. Normally, what we express while we communicate to others, what we express the facts, we provide some ideas, we provide some give some attitude, some opinions of ours from one person to the another, so that they are understood. Again, meaning is same. Whatever things you are passing on to other person, he listens, he understands, and accordingly he gets enriched in information. In what we communicate, we provide the information from one person to the other. There is a very good book by the one title of the book is Information, Communication and Society by Bhaskar Mukherjee. The book itself is on the information communication, containing some 300 pages. So what it says, he has given very nicely that how the communication process starts, how one can communicate. It is not must that we have to speak only, and then only we can communicate the information. Without speaking also, a communication is passed on. How? Suppose I tell you, if you are reading a book, how many persons are there when you are reading? You are yourself. A book is there and you are there. Your eyes are the channel through which you are receiving the information, whether it is a storybook, whether it is some other text. When you are reading, through your eyes, it is going to your mind. You are reading the story. You feel as if what you are reading, you are seeing in a real sense. So communication is there between a book and you. There is no other person. You are single person, but still you are communicating with the book. Similarly, sometimes there are no need for words to be spoken in order to communicate. There is no need that always words should be there. There can be symbols. When you are driving a bike on the road, there are symbols. A curve will be there, arrow mark will be there with a curve. That means by seeing that itself, you understand you have to take a turn there. Near a hospital, a horn is there, and that a cross mark is there. That means you should not produce the noise of horn. You should not blow the horn. That means that symbol itself is communicating with you. In the library, we put a cigarette or something and put a cross mark. That means no smoking. You are not expressing with your mouth that you should not smoke in the library, or you should not produce noise, so that others get disturbed in the library. Keep silence. The near hospital, near school, the vehicle driver should not blow the horn. Only a horn is there, a cross mark is there, and you are understanding. So that is a symbolic way of communication. You are understanding by seeing that itself. In the library, we are putting the chart near the library counter. We simply put the arrow mark. Where is the textbook section? Where is the reference section? Where is the bibliography section? Where is the issue counter? Where is the suppose literature search section is there, computer or internet is there. you put the symbols, you put the arrow marks, you put the upward arrow or down. If it is in first floor, if it is in right side, you put right side arrow. So that mute symbols itself speaks. They speak to the person, informing him without expressing by your mouth, without producing a single word. Those charts, those symbols, they communicate. They communicate with the person. They communicate with the readers, users who are coming to the library. The organization chart, you might have seen then your chapter, one of the chapters in the first, second or third chapter, you will find that the organization charts are there. Those charts, the placards, the placards are the posters pasted on the racks. They communicate with the reader that where is the book, on which shelf, which subject, which side of the rack, if it is double-page rack. So mute communication is there. But in management, we have to express the word. There will be different ways of communication. Communication from the downward to upward, upward to downward. We call it vertical communication. Vertical communication means it is from top management to going to down level, subordinates. And when it goes from down level, whenever any grievance or anything is to be put up to the higher authorities, then it goes from down to top. But both way, it is what we call vertical communication, going from down to top or top to down. And there is another way, what we call lateral communication or horizontal communication. There in an organization, there may be different departments. There may be acquisition section. There may be processing section. There may be cataloging, classification, and other section. There may be reprography section. All section, and there may be in charges for those sections, supervisors for those sections. Divisional or sectional managers may be there. When they communicate with each other, that will be what we call lateral communication or horizontal communication. Horizontal means it is line way. It is in a line. A section person talks to other section persons, instructs something, communicates something, then it becomes horizontal or lateral communication. From it can be from left to right, right to left, but it is in horizontal or lateral way. So communication can be in any way in the organization, but it is must that the clear-cut communication in clear words, it should be expressed so that the organization goals can be achieved. And then you will find that what it is said, there can be in communication, there can be interpersonal role, talking one person to other, giving instructions, what we call interpersonal role. And similarly, it can be a informational role. When some circular comes from higher, a director, a management, higher authorities, a manager, to which is to be communicated to all the staff, we call it informational role. And sometimes when it is from the higher authorities, they get the information from different sources and they use it for taking decisions. Then we call it as decisional role. You, depending upon the communication received from different angles, from different sources, the authorities take the decision. So we call it decisional role. And in order to communicate any communication, if you see your page number 243, a diagram is given which shows how the communication takes place. How the communication takes place. Let it be if you are sending by email, or if you are sending by WhatsApp, or if you are speaking directly, how the communication process takes place. There is what we call Weaver model, WEAVER. If you, as I told, that information communication book, if you take, you will find there are different models are given of communication, how one can communicate. So it involves what? There will be, in order to communicate, there will be a source from where the communication originates. We call it as source. And then whatever information is created or communicated from a source or start, it directly doesn't go. It goes to the receiver. It is encoded, encrypted or encoded. So what happens? The information starts from source, it gets encoded, and that message passes through a channel. Passes through a channel. A channel means a written communication. It can be spoken through by mouth, directly given verbal instructions, or it can be in written form. It can be communicated on the paper. It can be communicated through some media. As I told, it may be an email, it may be a WhatsApp message, it may be any other thing. So a channel will be there, verbal channel or written channel. And then whatever message, why we encode the message? So that that message could not be read by the person in between, to whom it is supposed to reach. It should reach only to that person. You know, when you send the email, how it goes? It goes in different packets. When it goes, it is totally encrypted. Whoever is receiving, seeing also, if anything, it cannot be understood by other person. So we call it encoding. And then after passing through the channel, that message is decoded. When even, you know, when we are speaking on the through some channel or telephone, what happens? It the signal is what we speak is analog signal. Then it is converted to digital. It passes through. Then again it is decoded or converted into from digital to analog, and our ears are able to receive and listen the message over the telephone. So encoding will be there. First it will be encoded, then it will be decoded, and then it reaches the receiver. So very important thing is there. What are the things involved in a communication? If you see the process of communication, one person sends the message. That message, before it passes through to the through a channel to the receiver, it gets encoded. It travels, then it gets decoded, and then the receiver receives it. It reaches from source to the destination. And accordingly, after receiving the information, the receiver, whatever action he has to take, whatever understanding he gets, accordingly he takes the action. So you can see this clear-cut given picture is there. I am on page number 242. How the source from where the knowledge is created, it passes through in different forms. It gets encoded and message is written in the different languages, and then it passes through the channel. Let the channel be oral, let it be written, and then what happens? Decoding is getting is translated. It gets translated in the language or understanding of the receiver, and the user or the receiver received it, and once he receives the communication, whatever is received is added to the existing knowledge of the user. So the knowledge is enhanced after adding of some communication. So if you see in this page number 242 and 243, all these 7 things are given: source, encoder, message, channel, and the decoder and communication receiver, and accordingly how the knowledge received or the communication received changes the receiver, and he takes the action. He provides action and reaction. So what I explained is are all in these 7 points. And then, whenever you are giving some communication to other person in a management or in an organization, the communication can be of 2 types. It can be formal and informal. What does it mean? Can somebody tell me what is mean by formal education and informal education? What is mean by formal and what is mean by informal? Or even there is third term, non-formal also will be there. When you are studying in a college, which is affiliated to a university, where you are getting after completion of your course, completion of your syllabus, you are asked to write some examination. If you qualify in the examination, you will get a degree. You will get a degree. It is a formal way of education. All formalities are to be done. You have to take admission into a course, attend the classes, listen to the lectures. After listening to lectures for some time, you have to write the examination. When your scripts are evaluated, you get once you pass the examination, you are awarded a degree. So what we call as formal education. Similarly, if you go for a distance education, like Open University, correspondence course, you may study like a college, but you won't attend the classes. You will be provided notes. You will be provided study material as you are getting in this course. So, what is there? You are getting your study material, you are reading, you are getting knowledge. You have to go through the examination process like regular college, and then when you pass the examination, you are awarded the same degree. But your attendance, like a regular student daily going to college and attending the lectures, is not required. Informal way, you are studying, but you are also getting awarded the degree. Not like a formal way, but informal way. And similarly, non-formal way also is there. Adult education.
Sir,
Those,
can we give the example like for academic and non-academic, like that, sir?
yeah, yes, that also you can say.
No.
Academic is not like non-formal. The person, he is semi-literate. He doesn't know very good understanding. He is not able to read, but he has got gist for knowledge, quest for knowledge. So adult education classes are conducted. A person will not become fully educated, but a person who knows a little will be enhancing his skills by going attending adult education classes. He is able to write his name. He is able to put his signature. He is able to read some small story books. Non-formal education. No degree is awarded. Adult education person may learn the things, but he will not be awarded any degree. So informal, non-formal way of understanding. So, but here in channels of communication, there are two types, formal and informal way of communication. How the formal communication take place? The formal communication takes place, as I told in beginning itself, in the three ways. It is vertical, that is from top to bottom. Another way from down to up, that is vertical upward. From subordinates to superior officers, from superior officer to subordinates. So vertical downward and vertical upward. And third thing is lateral or horizontal, in which the communication is passed on from department to department, section to section. And if you see further, the how the from top to downward communication will be there. It is given, a figure is given on your 244 pages, 244 page number. What it is says, how the communication is represented from top, single person, it comes to the different, say from director to deputy director. From there, it goes to further to assistant directors. Then it comes to these managers or supervisors, how it moves from top to downward. Similarly, on 245, it has shown how, if you see the arrow marks given there, how it moves from downwards to upwards and reaches through the top level. That is from upward to downward to upward. Here, few things are given. If you read, it is very simple. What it says, how the what type of communication goes from specific task directives when it is coming from top to bottom. What will be the things give specific task directives or some job instruction, how a particular job is to be carried out, then information designed to produce understanding of the task and its relation to the other organizational task, that is job relation. Then it is also information about the organizational procedures and practices, about vacation, sick leave, rewards, sanctions. That means higher authorities explain what are the facilities given to its staff, what are the leaves, what are the vacations, what are the rewards if they are carrying out some good work. That comes from the top to the subordinate levels, and then feedback to the subordinate about his performance, and then it asks the subordinate to provide the feedback, how they are about their performance. Top people also tells the lower people, and lower people gives what is their, how they feel about doing a particular job. Similarly, if you see upward communication, here also it says 4 ABCD is given. What it says, what the person says about himself, his performance, and his problems. You know, when I have taken your class regarding the HR, human resource planning and human resource management, there I have given, there will be annual appraisal. Every year, the employees has to give his annual performance report, APARS we call, or an appraisal report, where what they write, what the person says about himself, his performance, his problems, whether he faced what we call constraints. Suppose you are performing your duty. While performing your duty, you find some difficulties. So that you can write in your appraisal reports, annual appraisal reports, what difficulties, what constraints you have found. Another thing, what it say, what the person says about others and their problems, his colleagues, other person in this division, what he finds about them. Then he can also say what the person says about an organizational practices and policies. And finally, what the person says about what needs to be done and how it can be done. They can express the feedback from down to top. And in the lateral communication or in horizontal communication, if you see on page number 246, what you find that how the lateral communication or the horizontal communication from department to department take place. For example, he has given very nicely that peer-to-peer communication, that is librarian is there and he wants to communicate with acquisition section, with technical section, with reprography section, with translation section, with literature search section. So lateral communication is very important. So if we see the what are different forms of communication, you find here there will be normal thing. Oral communication, when it is verbally, instructions are given. And when it is given in written, we call it as a written communication. Can somebody tell in military what type of communication is important? In military, in army, what type? The commandant gives the verbal instruction. He says, attention, Bymode, go left side, right side, back side, start firing, do this, that. So, verbal communication is very important there. But in the organizations where the different people are employed, where performing different tasks, sometimes we may have to give the written communication that becomes a pakka communication that is required to be given. And similarly, there will be informal communication. In formal communication, what we do? Normally, we are giving written and oral communication. But in information, you know, we call it informal meeting and formal meeting. If there is a meeting where the all higher ups and other different officers are there, we have to follow certain instruction, we have to follow certain rules, regulation. We can express the thing. We call it formal dress. We have to go and attend formal way. But informal chatting, just general type of we get the information, but it is a informal talk, no formality. As I told, given the example of education, getting the education, getting informal education, getting non-formal education. Similarly, here in informational communication, sometime even in your short note, a thing may come. What we call it as a type of communication, informal communication, that is known as grapevine communication. Grapevine. What does it mean? Grapevine means what? You know, a grapevine is I can't say it is a tree. It is a kind of what we call in Hindi bale. You know, where it spreads, the grapevine spreads over the net, and fruits will be hanging from the that what we call the uh, that so tree or species. So that kind of thing is known as grapevine. Grapevine is normally that kind of communication which is spread like rumors among the people. Sometime happens, no, before budget, government present the budget, all over the your media, you are getting so many rumors, so many information that income tax rate will be changed, some facilities will be provided, you will be given some concession, some facilities will be provided. So like that, some rumors spread, and some of the things may also become correct later on. So grapevine is such type of information which is informal type of communication which spreads like rumor among the people, and that is uh, taken by the that information is received by the different people in the organization, and they sometime what we call that may become true also, that may become true also. So if
Sir, it's nothing but informal information, sir.
it is
Informal, informal
informal,
information.
that is given in written, neither it is verbally spoken by the authorities, but it spreads like rumor from some source. The information is leaked. Huh? It goes. Suppose they say,
It's
for example,
unethical.
we have been hearing for a long time that banks are going to work for 5 days. Okay, instead now the banks work for 6 days. Only second Saturday and fourth Saturday is holiday. But since last 6 months, over the media, rumor is there that banks are going to work only for 5 days. Saturday and Sunday will be holidays. Is there any circular from government? No. Is there anything from the bank's side? No. But still that rumor is going on. And one day if you find after maybe another 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, maybe these banks may start working for 5 days only. In beginning, that will be a rumor, and that rumor may not be true, but it may ultimately become true. Grapevine spreads, and that grape wine like thing growing, we call it nothing but it is a rumor type. Here they have mentioned also about the rumor clinics have been established to provide instant answer to objectionable rumor. Sometimes it will, some rumor spread, it may not be true, going to become true. Then in order to remove the wrong thinking among the people, so there will be rumor clinics are being established in some of the organizations. Okay. Now, another thing is there. That is also very important. Sometime in examination also question come. Many times it has come. That is regarding barriers. Barriers to communication. What is meant by barriers? You might have seen in the roads, sometimes police fellows, they are putting the, with wheels, there will be some obstructions, boats, lighting, moving to stop the flow of traffic. They are putting the barriers. If there is some minister is going, passing through the road, or if there is some road is broken, they put some moving boats like thing with the vehicle. We call it as barriers. Barriers to stop the traffic. Similarly, in other words, barriers means obstructions. Barriers means obstructions which stop the movement. That movement may be of traffic. That movement may be, in our case, it is stopping the movement of communication. There is no clear understanding of the communication given by an organization. So what they have classified three types of communication barriers. How the communication gets obstructed before it reaches the from higher authorities to subordinates, or any other way subordinate to the higher ups. Normally, for that purpose, we say always, whether it is a written communication or oral communication in an organization, it should be very clear. It should be written in such a way that any person receiving the information, whether it is verbal way or in written form, it should be clearly understood by the receiver of the communication. So simple words should be used. Suppose if you are using words which are giving double or triple meaning, then it will be confusion. In English particularly, there are many words which give the different meanings. Isn't it? For example, I will tell you, trunk, Trunk. What does it mean? Trunk means what? Trunk can be a suitcase made of, say, it can be made of a metal. We call it trunk. A tree trunk, the stem of a tree also is known as trunk. And the animal, that elephants, also will have a trunk. His nose, extension of nose, what we call as, in Hindi we call soond. That is also trunk. So use, what I mean to say, a person may get confused. What does the meaning is? So always use simple terms so that in the first reading itself, the communicator should provide a lucid and clear way what he wants to communicate. The communication barriers have been classified here as three types of barriers. Personal or human barriers, which is given here, the personal feelings of the person, and that's language related or the geographical and other type of barriers which call semantic type of barriers, and third type of barrier we call is technical barrier. There may be certain things are given here under human or personal communication barriers. One may find whatever communication they may, the source of communication may be people feel distrust. They may find a communication as a threat. They may find it as a fear. Out of that, that becomes the barrier for the person, because they don't trust the source. They don't. They, if any communication is there, that can also maybe taken as a threat or fear. And other things are there, like psychological barriers are there, that where the what we call the why a person may feel some dissatisfied. He may feel due to some problems, psychological problems, that he may not uh, fully satisfied with the communication. He may fear, some fear, kind of fear will be there inside. So what he says, then organizational barriers are there, social barriers are there. They have been listed as the personal, some status. Social barriers are related to the social status. And then there may be somebody may feel that the organizational higher hierarchy are there, some subordinates, and then if communication from the top only is reliable, in between whatever is communicated is not so reliable. So like that, there will be several options are given. The inadequate listening as barriers, poor retention. So for example, I tell you what happens when the communication directly comes from the top higher authorities to the subordinates. There may be more reliability. Sometimes what happens, if, for example, I am giving you, if six persons are there, one person speaks something, it pass on to, that message is passed on to second, second to third, third to fourth. Lastly, when it reaches to fifth or sixth or seventh person, there will be some distortion. We call it the whatever communication is there, that get modified. In between, certain things will be skipped by the persons. So we call such thing as noise or distortion of the communication. When it is directly communicated from the top to different subordinate level or lower level, then there will be less chance of distortion. Otherwise, it will get distorted or changed due to the noise. Means what? It are the external factors which are there in between. They will change the uh, communication. Whatever message is to be communicated, it will not be reaching the last person or the last segment of this organizational uh, personnel in the correct form. It gets modified, is changed. It becomes faulty expression, because we cannot retain the communication in the correct form, and slowly it gets changed. And sometimes when it is through some media, you may not be able to listen it properly. There may be inadequate or insufficient listening. There may be some gap in communication. Communication is not received in proper form. Another way is telling the semantic barriers, language barrier, international environment, information, geographical time lags. Suppose the information comes from different countries to people working here. Organization belongs to USA, UK. The communication comes from there. In between, sometimes there may be geographical differences. You may not understand a language in which the information is expressed. So all those factors, language factors or your geographical factors, they also change the communication. And then finally, some technical things are, some technical barriers are also coming, like physical obstructions as barriers. Physical means some due to maybe breakdown of the communication system or some weather disturbances. Sometimes there is a break in the communication system. That is what we call as physical obstructions as barriers, or it may also due to the mechanical barriers, whatever uh, communication instruments you are using, communication structure which you are using may get somewhere uh, blocked or due to some bottlenecks. Somebody wants that the information should not reach the subordinate level correctly. Some bottlenecks will be there, some problems will be there, and there also it gets obstructed. And information overload. Sometimes what's happened, information is through some channel, so much information is provided that that system itself will break due to overloading. Sometimes it happens, when you are seeing your examination results, when it is uploaded on the internet, when everybody wants to see his marks, see his results, how many, what is his memo, how many marks are there, and then what happens when so many people at a time open the internet, because it gets overloaded with the use, the information is already overloaded, and same time the access is also overloaded. Many people want to access, and the system breakdowns. Such things are also possible. So, and the geographical distance, if it is more far away, the less the clarity. So that also geographical barriers and the uh, time changes between the place to place, geographical things will also come. Finally, uh, how the communication should be between the uh, from higher ups to low subordinates, or from subordinate to higher ups, how it should be worded. Some uh, uh, principles are given, some on your page number 251. Here, I can give you the salient features. What Kuntz and Seal has told on page number 251, what he says, one thing is the communication should follow the principles of clarity in order to be effective, which implies an information or message. Whatever message is communicated, what according to Kunj and Seal, it should be clearly, in clear words, it should be given so that it can be effectively implemented, effectively it can be used. What second, he says, another principle for effectiveness of the communication is the principle of ensuring the need of for full attention and concentration to any transmission, oral or written. So how you can get the correct information when you are listening to a communication or a transmission given by the organization in with full concentration, then only its effectiveness will be there. Otherwise, it will be non-effective. And a communication to be effective must follow the principle of integrity, based on the recognition that managerial communication are means rather than ends. and its purpose is to support the understanding by individuals. Means, what does it mean? Whatever communication is given by higher authorities, it should be given in clear words, easy words, so that it is to be understood by the personal working staff working in an organization, so that they will be able to follow the instruction and implement and take the action accordingly. And similarly, same thing it is given the principle of strategic uses of informal organization, implying that managers must use the gray point or informal channels of communication where essential to supplement the formal lines or channels of organization. Sometimes, as I told, gray point communication, that is spreading the rumors. Sometimes rumors are spread from the some channels itself. So it spreads before any opposition is there from the employee side. It is first spread among the people as a informal communication, so that later on it can be without any objection, it can be implemented. Like that, if you see some American Management Association has given certain things as the communication, what salient point should be there, 10 commandments they have given. Uh, see, the clarify your ideas before communicating, examine the true purpose of each communication, why you want to communicate. Then they have given the total physical and human setting wherever you communicate, what kind of setting is there with whom you are communicating, consult with others where appropriate in planning communication. All those 10 commandments are given, which are just simple. You can read it. And since the time is up and you have to attend other class also, we will some complete here, and then tomorrow we will see the what how we can manage the change in an organization, if any change is to be implemented, and how that change can be uh, implemented in an organization, so that there should be no resistance from the employee uh, to take the change adopted in their working.
Sir,
So
tomorrow class is there on Sunday.
tomorrow class is there. That is same time, and tomorrow will be the last class for your MLIS management, all courses, I think so. So tomorrow at same time, 11:30 to 12:30, I will be taking. And the last chapter is related to change, and that is a very small chapter, may not take much time, but as I told earlier, I will try to sum up, give you the, in a nutshell, what is a library, how library works, what are different types of library, how do you manage the library, what are different works, like that I will give in a nutshell about the library management and library administration. First, we will see how to uh, use the change without getting it resisted by the employees. First few minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, we'll discuss about the chapter. And then finally, I will give the gist of all what you are studying in your MLib and what you have studied in BLib also. It will be a kind of, in a nutshell, refresh, how you can refresh your library science knowledge, what you have learned. If you are interested, please attend the class, and it will be in general useful to you as a library science student. I will sum up all the aspects of library science and libraries and how you use it, how to manage the library, how to administrate different types of work that will be useful to you. Okay? If you are interested, please be there on time and we'll take up that last hour as a nutshell information about the library science. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Time.
sir.
No mention. No, no.
Thank you, sir.
No,
Thank you, sir.
no mention, please. No mention.